Yo, what's good, my fellow deadheads? Your overlord has returned. Today we're going to be talking about some JJK Phantom Parade. Today we're going to be covering the new SP upgrades that the red Nobara, the blue Jogo, and the green Saki Rindo have gotten. I don't know why I say her name like that every time, but the new, all three of them have gotten new updates to their SP system, so they are a bit stronger. Before we get into this, if we remember specifically on the screenshot for the update that they showed us, it said that Nobara's nail debuff was going to be greater. It said that Jogo's domain was going to be greater, and it also said that Saki Rindo's buffs whenever she's taking damage is going to be greater. So those are the main things that we're going to be looking towards, and yeah, we're just going to see how much improved the kit is really. Unfortunately, I don't really play the JP version like that, and I literally have none of these characters in the JP version. There is a much higher chance of me having these characters on global version. So as of right now, whenever these SP updates come out, I'm really just gonna more so be speculating on the wiki. But whenever all this stuff does come to global, I will probably more than likely go into each character one by one, and I would like to try to do like a use them before I upgrade them with SP, and then use them right after I upgrade them with SP in the same exact stage, and just see how different they look. But if you guys do enjoy these kind of like wiki or Bible, of course, these wiki type videos, you can go down below, you can hit the like button, you can subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you can comment down below and let the dead man know how you feeling for real. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. I learned from my mistakes last time, guys. We start from the auto skill because most of the time the skills are using something in the auto skill. So she first had an adjustment to her auto skill that added zone to the character, because once Black Flash Yuji came in, or once Zone Yuji got into the game, they just added zone to every character that has Black Flash. Zone Outburst. When Black Flash is performed, increases own Jujutsu damage by 45% for 6 turns, and this cannot stack. And she also recovers her own cursed energy by 15. So, the 45% Jujutsu damage increase cannot stack, but it seems like the recover own cursed energy by 15 can stack. If it couldn't, I feel like they would put this down here. SP Potential Unleashed. Zone Outburst. When Black Flash is performed, increase own Jujutsu damage by 45%. 8 turns, cannot be stacked, so much better. And it just increases her damage dealt by 25% for 8 turns as well, cannot be stacked. And then recovers own cursed energy by 15. So already much better actually, because she keeps the buff for 2 more turns. And she also gets an additional damage dealt of 25%. I'd say that's a pretty solid buff right here. The main skill where she got a change is her ultimate, but let's go back to all of her skills just to see if there's any changes. So this skill's unchanged. I'm more so just going over the SP stuff that has specifically been changed. So this skill right here, skill 3, used to be increases own damage dealt by 217.5% one time. The higher the enemy's nail count is, the greater the damage boost is, up to 942.5% with 11 nail counts. That's actually kind of disgusting. That's like ultimate range damage right there, just stacking nails. And let's see, with Nobara, you can stack 1 nail for 7 turns with the skill 2, and then is it 3 nails? Yes, 3 nails on the skill 1 for 3 turns. So you would literally just use this for probably 5 turns, so you have 2 turns left over by the nails you already have, and then you have 5 nails, and then you would just use the 3 nails twice. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? Twice, and then you'd be at 11 nails right on that last turn, and then the next, well, probably be at 10 nails or something like that, but then right on the next turn, you're literally just getting this crazy damage boost right here. And then it removes all the nail counts, of course, and deals 250% range Jujutsu damage to any enemies with a nail count. But let's see what the SP potential changes to. Changing the value of cursed energy cost based on all enemies' nail count. If there are 1 to 4 nails, the skill only costs 25. Oh, so usually this costs 50. If there's 1 to 4 nails, the skill costs 25, or it reduces. Does it reduce it by 25? Because it would seem like cannot use this skill without a nail count. So you have to have a nail count to use the skill, but it seems, I imagine that this isn't supposed to say from 1 to 4 nail counts that only cost 25 cursed energy. Actually, no, that does make a lot of sense. That's very similar to Sukuna, how his skill does more damage the more cursed energy you have to pour into it, right? So now it's like if you have 25 cursed energy, you can do the 1 to 4 nail count drop. If you have 5 to 9 cursed energy, the skill or if you have 5 to 9 nails, then the skill costs 40 cursed energy. But I do like them making it cost more energy depending on how many nails you have, because then it's like more damage you get, the more cursed energy you're going to use, and it just makes sense, right? It makes sense in my mind. It works very similar to Sukuna's skill 2, I believe. Or no, his skill 2 doesn't cost any cursed energy. His skill 3, it works very similarly to Sukuna's skill 3. That's what I'm thinking of whenever I see this, so I do kind of like that. Increases own damage dealt by 217.5%, so not different, for 1 time. The higher the nail count is, up to 942. Okay, so that's the same. And then increases on ultimate skill charging rate by 15% for 3 turns. So that was added on. And then also deals 400% range Jujutsu damage to the enemies with the nail count. And then increases enemies Jujutsu damage received by 12.5% for 3 turns. The higher the enemy's nail count, the greater the effect boost is, up to 25% with 6 nail counts. And it's effective for red type attacks. Remove all nail counts. I'm not gonna lie, chat. That skill sound kinda gross. I'm not gonna lie. I do like this very much more. It feels like a more versatile skill now that it just doesn't cost 50. It costs 25 up to 50. And depending on your nail count, it can just range. And the damage is much better on it now, because now you're... Oh, okay, I didn't see this part right here. So it got up to 400%. But even still, increasing the Jujutsu damage that enemies takes as well, very good. Now, it is for red specific characters, but I'm not gonna lie. Whenever I was forming my red team for Cursed Sweep Battle, like my backline unit, I think it's still important, by the way. I think your backline is still important, because if one of your units in the front line do die, then you still need a DPS to finish up the rest of the damage in the rest of the 17 turns that you have. So I do see merit in working on your 5th backline characters as well. Nobara, I think, will be a good backline. Red Yuji and Nobara, I think, are like your main 2 backlines for this, and this just made her, I'm not gonna say leagues better, but it did make her way better, I guess. What is way compared to leagues? I don't know. Let's go down, look at the ultimates. Ultimate does not change at all. So it looks like all we got was a boost to the passive and a boost to the skill 3. But then again, it has made her nail buff a lot more versatile, a lot more powerful, because now you can do different ranges of damage depending on how many nails you have. So I will say, I do very much like Nobara's upgrade. Let's look at the next character, which I have up. I think it's Jogo. Yes, this one's gonna be Jogo. So let's look at Jogo's auto skill now. In the V2 adjustment, there was no extra, changes to Jogo's passive, or his auto skill. So let's look at these auto skills and then look at the SP. So, if own HP is 50% or below, increases own Jujutsu damage by 50% up to 1 time in battle. Then, at the start of each turn, if cursed energy is 10 or below, recovers own cursed energy by 10 up to 3 times during battle. Let's see what it changes to with the SP now. The essence of curses. At the start of battle, evade enemy attack chance 15%. Okay. So it's a very low chance, but it is free. So they're just giving you a free dodge chance at the start of the fight. I do like that, actually. I am rather enthused by that, because I did not expect that at all. Just, hey bro, I thought Jogo was a very shitty unit, just looking at him initially. And honestly, I always thought that Hanami and who else? Mahito were always way better, and he was just never that good. But the main thing that I was saying was, if his domain is the DOT on it is way better, you might be able to put this man up on a team with Sukuna, have some crazy DOT mono blue action going on. If that's the case, I'm low-key gonna, like, the next character I'm gonna get from the shop will just be Jogo, and I'm gonna just start working on him from that point on. And then I'm still gonna try to get Geto and just, like, use both of them, I guess, in the front line. I don't know, I'll make it work. But let's continue this. At the start of each turn, increases own damage dealt by 10% for 1 turn with more cursed energy. The greater effect increase up to 30% with 60 cursed energy. So if you have 60 cursed energy at the start of the turn, Jogo is going to be dealing an additional 30% extra damage. If cursed energy is 10 or below, recovers 10 cursed energy. Okay, so they don't really change that much with the SP system. And guys, if you just watched my wishlist video, I was talking about how the SP system, if you were looking at JJK compared to Dokkan, that's the game I compare it to the most, because Dokkan is just an all PvE game. with a hidden potential system, right? With just like cycling out events and everything, very similar to JJK Phantom Parade, right? If you look at Dokkan's hidden potential system is separate from its, you know, its easy A's and everything. And the point that I want to make with that is the SP system does, again, provide old characters with more relevance again, but at the same time, this is not the end for these old characters. We have still not gotten a system similar to Easy A yet. I'm very curious as to what the Easy A system will look like in this game. But nonetheless, this is not Easy A, guys. Do not mistake that. They definitely have more in the tank, and I have a very strong premonition that they are waiting until the games are synced up to start getting all the extra stuff out of the tank. I am impressed with his passive. I do like the evade chance being in there. Any defensive mechanic is good when in a game that doesn't have defense. Also, the extra damage dealt is cool, and then he still has his little, you know, curse energy recovery thing. So it's very good to have your curse energy recover naturally in your kit and not need to have a character like Kaito around all the time. Let's come back up here and now look at his domain expansion, which is going to be the skill that changes. And just to be sure, literally none of these skills have an SP change on it. Okay, cool. So post ultimate adjustment, post V2. Okay, so what Jogo's ultimate is right now, and I got to make sure to put that on level 10 because I think I read Nobara is not at level 10. All right, cool. Deals 759.6% range Jujutsu damage to all enemies and expands his domain for 4 turns. While the domain is active, grants guaranteed hit effect and attack immunity nullification to self. Deals 139.9% continuous Jujutsu damage flame to all enemies, so 139.9. So we're looking for at least like 160% continuous damage or something like that when we go down to the SP upgrade. I've not looked at the SP upgrade yet. I've not looked at any of these before the video. I am just saying what I hope for. Increases own critical hit rate by 197.9%, increases own damage by 59.9%, reduces own damage received by 29.9%, recovers own cursed energy by 59.9%, unable to fill ultimate skill gauge. Now, I would not be surprised if all of these things boost, because it said that it is going to make his domain better in general, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they didn't touch any of this stuff and they just did the continuous damage. I'm going to be real with you. So let's now look at these comparatively. So, it went from 760% to all enemies to 800% to all enemies. Nice little extra little bit of damage buff. That's cool. Let's come down here. While domain is active, guaranteed hit effect, deals 139 continuous flame damage. Let's see. Now it's going to be deals guaranteed hit effect, attack and immunity to self still, deals 150% flame damage. So I'm going to be honest with you, 150% is actually what I was fully expecting. I was just being optimistic by saying 160%, but I fully expected 150%. Let's see. Critical hit rate increased 200%, barely changed that. Increases own damage by 0.1%. Wow. Increases or reduces the damage by 0.1%. Wow. Recovers own cursed energy by 80 instead of 59.9. So that's not that bad. And then let's see. Adding additional effects into the following skill while domain is active. Ghost Lights. Increases own Jujutsu damage by 15%. What is Ghost Lights? Let's see. Ghost Lights is his skill 1. What it naturally does is deals melee combined damage equal to 75% taijutsu and 95% jujutsu to the selected enemy flame attack. So I'm guessing that means that it deals flame damage. Inflicts continuous flame damage equal to 35% jujutsu to the selected enemy. 3 turns. The higher the own cursed energy is, the greater the boost is to 70% with 60 cursed energy. Okay, so the damage dealt per turn is going to be higher with how much cursed energy you have. And then let's see, what does this add to it? Increases own jujutsu damage by 15% and recovers own cursed energy by 10. That adds that onto his skill 1? I like this. I know I just complained about all this stuff getting barely boosted up, but at least they did boost every part of it. I wanted the 160 right here, but as I just said, I expected 150 right here and did not expect any of this stuff to get boosted down here. Even though they only boosted it a very tiny bit, I'm still happy with that because they also boosted his damage. And again, this is not Easy A. This is more like, this feels like they're saying, okay guys, we built these characters in the game and we did not give them everything that they were supposed to have. This is us giving them everything they're supposed to have now. This is what it feels like. It feels like realistically what happened. I'm gonna take my glasses off for this. It feels like realistically what happened is they released JJK Phantom Parade and they knew that it would make them some money it did not know how much money it would make them. And they had extra stuff in the tank, and they were like, okay, we're cool with adding all this stuff. But let's just see where this goes first. People probably received it a lot better than they expected them to, and then they were like, all right, bro, let's start going full throttle. Then all of a sudden they were like, okay, we got to throw out the global version as well. So that's why I think we will have an EZA sort of system or something like that. But as of right now, not just yet, because it is very easy to release all this stuff on both versions when they're synced up. It's a little bit harder to coordinate everything because there is somebody, I think it's called product team or product flow or whatever. Literally a product flow specialist's job at a development company. I speak to a video game developer every fucking day. He's gonna stumble across one of these videos and he's gonna be so glad I'm bragging about him. But I talk to a video game developer every day. There are literally people paid to make schedules at these companies, and you can bet your ass that it is way easier to make a schedule for 2 different games when they're just working on the same timeline. And they literally released around the same time. I think that was done on purpose as well. Literally, they were released like 2 weeks apart. Global was a year and 2 weeks apart, I'm sorry. Or 50 weeks apart, I guess. Global was November 2nd. I was about to say November, May. What the hell? November 7th, 2024. And JP was November 21st, 2023. So the games are literally 1 year and 2 weeks apart, or 50 weeks apart. And I think that they did that on purpose so that it was very easy to hit a sync sort of thing, because things are already kind of like similarly timed in the game. But nonetheless, that was just a little yap session for you. I actually am quite impressed with this Jogo. Again, I thought this Jogo was ass at first, but I am very curious to see how his continuous damage works alongside Sukuna's continuous damage. Because I'm just like, bro, a full DOT team could be a crazy meta, and we just don't know. You know, a team with Jogo, Sukuna, and then who am I thinking of? Oh my goodness, why is his name eluding me? Junpei, and then maybe like Domain Expansion Gojo even as a support to like give them that extra little push. I don't know, bro. That sounds kind of busted to me, but I will stop holding you up on this Jogo here. I will go ahead and jump over to Saki Rindo and see how she's looking. So far, guys, we are 2 for 2. I did like Nobara's kit, and I liked how her nails have been upgraded, and then also I like how Jogo's domain actually got improved in every aspect and every capacity, even though it may not have been as much as some people wanted to see, even though it may not have been as much as I wanted to see. No. The part that I wanted to see upgraded as much as I wanted to see was not upgraded as much as I wanted to see. But at the same time, though, I'm happy with Jogo, because even though his continuous damage didn't get buffed by that much, it still did get buffed, and all of his other stuff still got buffed alongside it. So I'm happy with that. And he even has a little evade chance. They even gave him a little defensive mechanic in there, so a little more survivability as well. Not mad at it. Let's check out Saki Rindo. And also, I believe she's supposed to be like a tank, but the way that she's an attacker, but she wants to have low HP, and I don't really know how I feel about that. But we're gonna see if this can turn around my opinion of her. Because again, I never thought that Saki was bad. I just thought that she was quirky, which I don't think quirky is what you should be going for in JJK Fantasy Parade. I think you should be going for it works. Gojo's work, right? Kaito's buffs work. Nanami, Yaga, Momo's buffs work, right? Saki can work sometimes if you can get her into the right HP range and make sure she doesn't die and all this, but quirky. We're not looking for quirky. We're looking for this shit works. I don't know that this is going to update her so much that she is outside of the quirky zone for me, but let's go down and look at her passive first. So her passive has never been updated or anything like that. At the start of battle, grants revival status to self 1 time. At the start of each turn, if own HP is 60% or below, decreases own damage received by 10% for 1 turn. The lower the HP is, the greater the damage received decrease is, up to 40%. At the start of each turn, if own HP is 35% or below, decreases own damage received by 50% for 3 turns. When the character triggers the revival status, damn, that dog was going crazy outside. When the character triggers the revival status, grants attack nullification itself for 1 turn, only applies if all stacks of revival status have been depleted. Okay. SP potential. Grants the revival to self at the start. Still cool. Alright, cool. Increases own Jujutsu and Taijutsu damage by 17% with each attack received. Increased damage dealt by up to 150% depending on how many attacks have been received. Double the amount increase if receiving an attack while health is 35% or below. So, let's digest that for a second, chat. she has gone from no additional damage boost, because she is an attacker, so damage boost is what we're looking for here, of course. Every single time she gets hit, she gets a 17%. This is making me think of Dokkan right now. Every single time she gets hit, she gets 17% extra damage. So she gets hit 10 times. Let's see, 10 times minus the 17%, that would take, so 170 minus 17 is 153. So literally, if she gets hit 9 times, because 8 times would be under. If she gets hit 9 times in the battle, then all of a sudden, she has an extra 150% damage dealt increase. That's a little nutty. And sometimes you don't even got to get hit all 9 times. Sometimes if her HP is below 35%, then you're going to be getting 34% to her taijutsu and jujutsu. And this doesn't say it goes away. It says it just stays. I'm already liking this. I'm already liking this. Because she's getting guaranteed damage as she gets hit. Okay, let's keep reading. If own HP is 60% or below, decreases own damage received by 10% for 1 turn. Okay. Up to 40%. Okay. 10% up to 40%. Okay, so this didn't change, and this did not change either. So the only thing they changed is they gave her extra damage for getting hit. I'm gonna be honest with y'all though, I really like this shit. At the start of each turn as well. Like, bro, I think that's crazy. Every time she gets hit, 17% to her jujutsu and taijutsu damage. Get hit a few times, bro. Have a damage reduction page. You know what I'm saying? Because she still needs to get hit. I'm not gonna say get a tank and, you know, taunt the whole time, because she needs to get hit. But have a damage reduction page. Have some healing pages on standby. Whatever. She's gonna start looking a little bit more impressive. Because you got to think, on top of her getting buffed by buff units that you would definitely bring on your team, she's also just going to be taking hits, especially if there's AoEs in the fight that you're doing, or there's just hella enemies and they're just throwing random hits everywhere, right? She's going to be getting hit, and while you're buffing her, the enemies are going to be buffing her too. I don't know, guys. I really like that shit. And luckily, she's already passed this. Her banner's already passed on global, so it's not even like I'm saying, yo, summon for her. But if you have her, you might be on that W spot right now. Let's see what her skill 2 is looking like here. What her skill 2 used to be was deals melee combined damage equal to 230% taijutsu and 181% jujutsu to the selected enemy. Increases own taijutsu by 16.3% for 3 turns. If own HP is 35% or above, sacrifices 10% HP, cannot die from sacrificing HP. Let's see now. I like to see them beside each other. Deals melee combined damage equal to 280% taijutsu, so that's up 50%. That's actually kind of big. And then 200% jujutsu, that's like 20% right there, or 19%, or 18.9% higher on the jujutsu. I'd say that's a pretty nice, pretty reasonable buff right there. She attracts attacks to herself for 2 turns, so she's getting the taunt in to guarantee that she's getting those hits and getting those extra damage buffs. Increases her own taijutsu by 20% for 4 turns. So it used to be 1 less turn, and it used to be a little bit lower, so that's very good. Then, reduces own damage received by 10% for 2 turns. If HP is 35% or above, sacrifices 10% HP. Oh man, I'm gonna say it, chat, I'm really liking this Saki. I'm not gonna lie to you, I feel that Saki is the most improved from this entire thing here. Jogo's buffs did not go up that much higher, but he did get a buff to his skill 1 and his ultimate, of course. That was the whole point, his domain getting stronger. Nobara did get a buff to her nails, but it more so just changed like the versatility of it and increased the damage by a little bit. But I think which buff I like the most is probably Saki's buff, because again, I think this just took Saki from quirky to like a reasonable DPS to be working on. But guys, again, unfortunately I don't have any of these characters on the Japanese version while all the SP updates are coming out. But I do plan to do a lot more summons in the future of the global version, obviously, and I plan to do hella summons. Like, I haven't been doing a lot of summons, so I haven't been getting a lot of random characters here and there. But that's because Gojo and Sukuna are not out yet. But I will summon more on global. Obviously, I have to maintain my account and be the cracked, sweaty account that y'all love to look at. And also, I definitely will take these characters one by one and break them down a little more in depth for sure, and actually like try to do like a before SP, after SP, type of run so that you guys can kind of get a good idea of how they're really looking, how it really translates in the game. But if you guys do enjoy these videos where I break down these things for you and kind of give my opinions on them, you can go down below, destroy that like button. You can also hit subscribe and hit the notification bell. And then you can also, what is that, chat? Comment and let the dead man know what you like to see and what you don't like to see, because the dead man loves you and will listen to you. You just gotta let me know what's going on. But the dead man is gonna get out of here and edit this video so we can get it up in a timely manner. So you guys have an excellent, wonderful, exquisite night. Peace out.